You could have a man.
Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna put this out for a minute. You know, because my wife had just told me that some more about story, and apparently the mom didn't know her teenage daughter was on there on Facebook texting my wife. She texted my wife's number. What used to be this bonehead's number turns out he's 30 years old. So, and she was sending naked pictures and other types of pictures. She was so sure of herself, even after I called, and I basically told her what the deal was, and I said a few things. Didn't know she's underage, but um, but no, she quit for the night. And what's weird is she starts this freaking shit up again, and so they're going to, and I reckon going by what my wife said, when she got the realization set in. At first, she said, "I don't care," yada yada yada. But I think when her mom went, mom got on there, after the teenage daughter got spooked and locked herself in the bathroom. Well, I told my wife, I said, well, she should have took my warning. We told her we wasn't playing around. She swore up and down. She thought we were just going to play along with this crap. And so that's what I'm saying. You have to teach these people the hard way. I believe in all seriousness, there needs to be, talking about something that needs to be done is they need, and if it has to be the Decatur Police Department started, I hope this makes 3, 9, 12, Fox, all these local news channels. CNN, every bit of it. My video, I wouldn't care. This stuff has been going on long enough. There ain't no reason why Facebook should be so easy to hack. There should be no reason why somebody can go on there and make a Facebook and it get hacked in a few days, a week, 2 weeks, a month. They should take better care of their site, and he should take better care of these people's personal information. I understand you can still get hacked, but it shows me that they're not making it too hard for these people to do. And even though this technically doesn't fall into the hack category, because this guy had this number that now my wife has, so but it, like I said earlier, it was like about 40, probably about 40 Facebooks between me and my wife. And I would go on there, and I know what my passcode was, and it would say, this passcode has been changed. I'd get these things up on the computer and stuff. And there shouldn't be no way that should happen that easy. Now, it could probably still happen, but it would have to be something harder. Facebook should have protection. I never had any problem when I was on my PS3. I could get on my Facebook, and I guess it had some protection stuff on it, because I never had no problem. That's how I used to get on Facebook. But I currently don't have one, but I'm just telling everybody out here, and I'm warning you, keep your goddamn kids off fucking Facebook. Keep them off anything. But definitely, if you're a grown woman out there, if you're somebody that because as what I was told, this teenage girl, was keeping this secret, and that's just bad. And like I said, my wife, I told my wife it was about 7:30 or so, or somewhere around there, and I told her, all right, I've had enough. And she wasn't trying to argue with me, but she played some of the audio clips that I left her, and she let them hear me.
Brandon's just contacting me there doing the
And
investigation.
they believe they agreed with me, and they're doing an investigation on this. So they're coming after you two. And if this mom doesn't keep hands on her daughter, keep tabs on her daughter like she should, she could wind up in trouble. So I don't think she'll want that. But yeah, I'd keep this stuff should not be happening. There should be. I'm not saying they should charge people on Facebook and all that to make a profile, but they ought to have stuff. And with technology, there's no excuse for this kind of stuff happening. You shouldn't be able to have a number posted on your Facebook that you don't no longer use, and there should be something. There should be some undercovers or something. There should be somehow another. Facebook could even put spy stuff on there. If they wanted to, some spyware or something. Keep tabs on stuff. Yeah, you probably ain't gonna catch everybody, but if people put some stuff on this, got this stuff out there where it'd make it a lot safer for all people involved. So that's pretty bad when you can be sitting here like my wife was and didn't know this freaking teenage girl from nowhere, and just started texting and sending pictures. And then today it got to the point it got to, and there was some naked pictures. My wife said they were sent. So, but like I said, there's just no call for this laziness. I mean, it's bad enough what you see on the news, and you wonder why kids end up like they do. And stuff. But yeah, I'm glad it taught that, and I'll guarantee you that one won't forget this one. Now that might not stop everybody, but we all should band together and teach our kids a better lesson. Keep them phones up. If I were parenting kids, one thing about it I would do is make sure they couldn't have internet on their phone. Matter of fact, they ought to be an age limit or something on these, not allowing these kids to have cell phones till a certain age or something. I would say. If I was going to have them a phone, I'd make it a child-proof phone. How they come up with it, they could do that if they cared to do it. That's what needs to be pushed. Some of these ideas need to go up front. Need to get Mark Zuckerberg and Zuckerbutt or whatever his name is. He needs that guy from New York that owns Facebook. They need to get a hold of him and get. Well, they need to, because this goddamn shit needs to stop. I mean, there ain't no call for it, And my wife would mind her own business, and something like this, starts happening. Well, it ain't that hard. I mean, Facebook's going to lose a lot of people time we're through, and it may even get shut down before it's over with. They're going to lose a lot of money over this before it's all said and done. So, so I mean, you want to say something, honey? All right. So anyway, I'm gonna let her tell her side of it and let her tell y'all about it.
Sorry.
Well, I just come back from the police station and I talked to Brandon Crisp, Jackie Mountain, Rowan Mullen. They're my three buddies, and they always help me when I need help. Well, they said they're doing an investigation on her. She wouldn't, the only person she would answer to was me. So the cop had talked to her on my cell phone on speaker. Her mama gave them the address where she was at. Her mama said she didn't know that she was dating this 30-year-old man. She was showing inside of her private. She sent me a picture of it, and then the police sent a picture to her mama. Her mama wasn't too happy. She started crying to her mama. She walked in the bathroom, locked herself in the bathroom because she didn't want to go to jail. The cop told her mama to tell her that she could be considered as an adult. She could go to the adult jail, not the kid jail. Juvenile jail. She could be considered as an adult. What was that? Oh, here. I'll put it up. Minute. It's in the refrigerator. And they are doing an investigation. They told me to stay off of Facebook because Jackie Mountain just now texted me. I'm bringing them. They're going to make sure that I stay off of Facebook. They're going to get protection out here. They're going to talk to Zuckerberg in the morning. And they are going to have Facebook shut down. That's what Brandon just said. They're going to have Facebook shut down because this is getting out of control. And this guy, Valerie Russell, whatever his name is, last name Russell, they got your paperwork, buddy. And they're coming after your little pucky ass.
Why would his name be Valerie?
That's what his mama named him. And his name is Valerie Roselle. And he's an old man. Well, he's young. He's 30. And her mama didn't know that she was dating him. This is what her mama says to the police. And I still don't believe it. You know, how would a mother not know her own child is on Facebook dating a 30-year-old man? How did that get past her? Well, she says she was coming home from work, supposedly. But the cop didn't believe the mom. He used his head from once. But they said for me just to stay off of Facebook, and I'm going to do what they say to do because that's what they told me. So I'm going to do what they say so I don't get in trouble. I was just sitting here and that Karen, her name's Karen, and that's the one that we've been having trouble out of. That's a 16-year-old child. I didn't know she was 16. She just texted me out of blue, started calling me. She called me 10 times today, by the way, and I showed the cops. I even saved the phone calls. I have proof on my phone that she called and texted. And they saw the threat that she's threatening to kick my ass. They saw that text too. And then her boyfriend's threatening Jackie Mountain to shoot him if they go and arrest him for dating a 16-year-old child. When they said that they can do that because that's, what do you call it, legal? Unlegal to, illegal to be dating a 16-year-old child. And she said she told the cop, the 16-year-old said that he asked for her to send a naked picture of her laying on her bed, crossed her bed, like, you know, laying across it in the middle. And he said he wanted her to take all clothes off, her bra and underwear and everything, and show her private to him on camera. And she sends it to me, and I showed the cop straight up. I put my head down, and Jackie Mountain knew that something was up when I put my head down, because that's why I'm ready to get sick after you see this picture. He threw up in a trash can. Because it was a nasty picture. It made him sick to his stomach. And I showed all the police officers. They said they are going to go find this Valerie Russell. So they got your paperwork, doofus. And I filled out everything that they have on you. They have it on file. They looked your ass up. They were doing an investigation when I was sitting there till what 9:30, 9:30, waiting on them to finish up your paperwork in hers. So they're coming after both of you. So you better watch it. They ain't playing around when it comes to Meigs County. But here you go. Here's my husband.
Well, as I figured, the problem is see, I don't. Thing is, see, I always tell my wife, one thing I always tell my wife, I hate sitting behind, a lot of times sitting behind the phone on a computer. Why, Derek? Why? Well, ain't this good enough for you? Right?
Yep.
I think this is a good enough sign for you.
Yep.
You know, what if it'd been one of us on the other end thought it was an adult and we would have done that shit?
Yeah.
You know? And like I said, I want to get this straight. I understand that, underage kids. I mean, my mother had me at like 16, so she wasn't out of this either. But I'm not going to say that it's ugly, but I'll say this: for a kid to resort to doing that, and this guy to have this number that my wife now has put on his profile, and that he was able to hand this number, and this damn fucking kid, a 16-year-old kid was so dumb, sat there and believe, even after my wife texted her, told her, we sent voice text out, voice message thing you can do now on the phone. I even called her up last night. She didn't answer the phone, but I left a voicemail. She left my wife alone, like I said, for the rest of the night. But this is ridiculous. This never should happen again. And a large portion of the problem is we make excuses for this new technology, and for some reason, we are lazy about trying to fix things. We're making excuses, saying people out here today saying they don't know this, they don't know that. Well, obviously they know something. Because if they had child-proof phones and stuff like that, if a child needs a phone that bad, they need to come up with some child-proof phones. Like them I used to have. You couldn't have internet on them back then. But they need to make them child-proof. They need to make some child-proof cell phones. I understand having a cell phone if your kid's all alone at the house and certain things. But they need to do something. This is a wake-up call. If this could happen to me and my wife, it can happen to anybody out there.
That's why I'm saying off of Facebook like you told me.
So if you got kids, it's one thing if an adult, over the age of, like 18 and above, if they want to show off their stuff, okay, but it's legal to do so. But for an underage child come out here and put on this show for my wife, and we warned her several times, and I'd forgotten what her name was, but my wife had remembered who it was. But it's a good thing that we didn't think she was an adult and end up in the worst mess. So we did the right thing, by telling the police, You know, probably should have had her do it yesterday, last night, but I was like, well, it's kind of late, you know. So I gave the, what now I know is a teenage girl at 16, I gave her the chance to leave well enough alone. So you need to teach your kids, if you got any kids, mamas and daddies, if you got any sense, you need to be getting these kids phones and checking them out. Only letting them have so many people in their phones or something. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, Braves won tonight. So they won. I think it's 2-0. Oh, two wins and one loss. That's our record this year. But anyway, yeah. It's gonna have to be a wake up call here somewhere. You know, there's a lot of stuff gets out there on the news. It's lies, and there's a lot of stuff that gets misunderstood and taken seriously. This is one thing that's been a problem ever since the internet was born, but it's gotten worse in the last 10 or so years. And probably a lot of this has went under the radar because there's so many people just worried about a grown woman getting hurt, getting done something to, touched or raped in some way or whatever. And these women coming out here, you know, doing these celebrity stuff, and they're coming out here saying they, you know, making up stuff, and most time it's nothing but lies. Well, here's something that was complete factual. And it's a big problem when you've got, you know, these teenagers can't find something better to do. They can't find something to entertain them. They're that goddamn stupid that they don't believe an adult. Here I am, almost 38 years old. My wife's 34, gonna be 35 this year, and you can't mean tell me, even a 16-year-old's old enough to understand that she was old enough to process what we were telling her. She knew she had a wrong number. So I think we shook her up so bad she probably will never see another day of a social media site. If she ever tries to make one in her future, she'll be sure to. Well, I know, but I'm saying when she gets where she ain't underage and she gets be the actual adult, she will have remembered this. And if she don't wind up getting jail time, and if she's lucky to get off with a slight warning or something, they might. I don't know. I'm not the police, but I would say, you know, at the very least, I'm hoping that this shines a light on something that's been ignored long enough, and they need to have something done about it. And it needs to, schools need to do better, not just on this front. They're so worried about, you know, church and stuff. People, oh yeah, you know, blah, 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 you know. Need to be teaching the kids, you know, not just talking about God, just anything in general, something that's alive. God's what it is and who he is, whatever. But he ain't here in the flesh. And we need to turn our attention on paying attention to what we do have here and what's alive, what's here on earth. And I think we need to change some stuff up, honestly. I'd say we do need to change it. You know, not just I think, but I know we need to change it. And to better raise kids. You know, teach them to listen to any adult, whether they're in my house or someone else's apartment or house or whatever you live in. Just like when we had what I dubbed the crack whore up here. Man, her kids, her youngest one especially, had had a problem listening. So, you know, it don't matter if they're in your house, those kids, if you're telling them to mind you and they're not minding you, you need to look them in their eyes and tell them, hey, I'm serious. I ain't laughing. I ain't playing. I ain't goofing around. You know, I remember a year ago I had to walk out of the room just to get peace and quiet. And then after a few minutes, I didn't come out for about half hour. And they got it in their head, you know. Well, you just don't do that kind of stuff when you're in the house. And that's why I told my wife, I said, nobody out here that's normal, average, everyday person's going to work for mine and my wife's office. Because they already got, she asked me again today, well, why is that there? Basically, I said, you know, because the reason you're seeing the click, there's 3 reasons. It's either somebody's work buddies, somebody's school friends, girlfriends, whatever, or it's an extended family. And that's why you see people holding hands or walking in the store. These things don't happen by accident. That's the only 3 ways that could happen. And so, yeah, I've been trying to look at elsewhere and look at some other sites that are lesser known, that ain't as public, knowledge on TV, and there is some that are adult theme sites that are people that aren't, you know, going to get you in trouble. There's those sites. There's also some, like I said, there's Instagram and there's Twitter and stuff like that. So like I said, though, I just mainly want to make this video about, you know, let my wife get what she had to get out. And hopefully we can come together and, you know, and at least agree on this. There needs to be something done, and there will be something done. Come hell and high water, the creek don't rise and this earth don't come to an end. You know, unless an asteroid or something come down here and kill us all. But, you know, there needs to be something done, really. And it's time to get the ball rolling and figure out why, you know, people have been so lazy. You know, they're so wrapped up in the wrong stuff, and they're not paying attention. I ain't saying watch your kids like a hawk, but if they know you're at least somewhat paying attention, and every once in a while, if you walk into a room and you say, hey, well, that one's left her phone sitting there, you know, you might not check it, you know, because if you're the mom or the dad or the aunt, the uncle, or whoever of a child, and, you know, especially like my wife had this thing happen to her, if they're underage, you need to, you know, if my wife had known she was underage, she wouldn't have been texting her, right? You know,
I wouldn't have been.
you know, and I don't know, you know, I always heard, you know, looks can fool you. And
She's in big trouble. Brandon said
but she didn't.
looking for her.
she didn't, I guess, think to ask. But
I did. She told me she was 30 years old. She lied.
She lied to you. Well, so anyway,
She lied to the cop, too.
yeah, well, anyways, so I just wanted to kind of come out here and put this out, warn everybody. And if you got any kids, if anybody sees this, your mom or dad who has a, you know, when you want your kids to do something good and want your kids to do something right, like I said, ain't gonna stop it all the way, but you know, the more safety precaution we do with Facebook, because Facebook's really a bad site.
It is.
It needs to be took down and re-gone over. There needs to be stuff done to that thing. If there was some protection measures and some other things to be not just people reporting, but actual people hired on to watch that site and monitor that site. I remember one time my dad said the word bombarded, you know, and he wasn't meaning it, he was, but the word bombarded is, he was on an ABBA site, a fan site, and they warned him not to use that word again. He was describing something that he was saying, and he used that word. And, but yeah, they're just, like I said, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, or whatever his name is, the guy from New York, he's rich enough, he can afford to have him a team of people to make Facebook better. They don't need to be just adding new features for people to get their hands on. They need to get features on there to protect us adults and the kids, and make kind of like the kids can't just open any old thing up in the store. Put safety proof things on this stuff. They put child proof stuff on medicines and stuff so kids can't wind up taking pills or something and, having one of them things like on Rescue 911 happen to them. So, yeah, that definitely was a wake-up call there, but I'm glad we were on the end we were on, though, and I'm glad that,
They said they're gonna have Facebook taken.
but Facebook needs to just be taken down and reimagined, and safety needs to come first, not just for Facebook, but any social sites need to have the same monitor.
They're taking it down right now.
They need to just do it. Now, if you want to have it free, have it free. If you want to do the coin thing and you only want to do, a lot of the sites now, even the ones that I go on, a lot of times you got to have certain things and buy certain, things and use a credit card. Maybe there needs to be some stuff explored, on if nothing else, at Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all this other stuff. They need to crack down on it, and because, anybody could be in this situation. Luckily, we were on the side we were on, but just thought we'd kind of put out a video about it and warn if there's anybody out there, better keep an eye on those kids. Because if you don't, and you're on purposely letting them on these sites, you could wind up going with them. Anyway, probably losing your license, your house, who knows what. So best better your job or whatever else you got. But anyway, just thought I'd put this out here. I'll see you later. Bye.